Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Steve and Crypto Show, presented by the Steve Strout.
I'm Steve.
I'm Crypto Zoo. This is episode 43, and I have no rhyme for you today because Steve will just make fun of me. So this is episode 43.
Yep, we're getting close to 50, and if I did my math right, our big milestone episode 50 will be right around Halloween. So I'm excited for that, and it's almost Halloween time, which we've been fucking talking about this for weeks and weeks now. So that's
more
exciting.
Like months. Like months because as soon as Halloween is over, we're like, all right, so we got so many.
All right,
days
it's almost
left
time. Time to start counting down
till the next one comes around.
But before we get too deep into this conversation here, I want to thank everybody for coming back. And if you guys have been enjoying the show, head over to our Buy Me a Coffee page. It's buymeacoffee.com/SteveCrypto. Kick a little something to the show. It all helps. It helps upgrade the gear. It helps upgrade our morale. It helps us improve the show so we can make the best show for you guys. We definitely appreciate it. And if you remember, about a month ago, we had that little giveaway, that contest for contributors. And hopefully pretty soon we get our two winners on the show here. I've already been talking with Josh Cook. He keeps messaging me like, oh, I got an idea to talk about. Like, let's do it, man.
That's great.
Take notes. I'm glad you're planning. You know what I mean? Like, he's excited. And he's like, my kid's super psyched that I'm going to be on your show. And I was like, your kid pop in and say hi then if she thinks it's cool.
Yep. You are the star of the show that day, sir. So please
just make sure
come in with some ammo and we're ready to talk about whatever you like.
Just tell your kid to watch your fucking mouth. Just kidding. That was bad. That was almost as bad as the episode numeric rhymes, but now that we got that out of the way, buymeacoffee.com/SteveCrypto. Go check it out, share it, show us some love, keep sharing the show, spreading the word. We definitely appreciate it, and it definitely helps. Last episode, we recapped Crypticon a bit. We talked about, it was your first Crypticon. We talked about some of like your highlights and stuff. We'll get a little more into that in a second. This episode, I was hoping to talk a bit about Candyman, but unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch it, and you haven't been able to see it yet. My plan was to go watch it this past weekend, but as we circle back to Crypticon, it was a great show. Again, thanks to people that popped in and said hi last week. Tim Long, Marcel Paneshin, even Darcy, the mail girl from the last drive-in, popped in, and that was pretty cool. Which I'll circle back and mention something about that soon. Something that we kind of discussed in that little clip with her. But
yeah. By the time we actually have some available time to see Candyman, it'll already be out on streaming and DVD. What's a DVD?
I need to see it in theater. But like I said, last weekend I was going to go, but unfortunately, though they were very careful, like we talked about in length last week with Crypticon, unfortunately, apparently a few attendees and possibly a celebrity or two tested positive for COVID afterwards. So, I mean, everybody who went was vaccinated or had a clean test within like 48 hours of the show, meaning that most of the people, anybody that were infected probably didn't get too sick. Like we had a little bit of, I know I had a little bit of symptoms a couple days after the show, getting sore throat and fatigue and just really runny nose. And so I went and got myself tested, and luckily I'm clear. So no COVID here. So that's good. But,
I got tested Friday afternoon as well. And
yeah,
I think
no
I'm
word
clear.
Yet? You're clear?
No word.
Good,
no
good,
word.
good.
Pretty sure I'm clear.
Yeah, I think that if you had an issue, they'd call you. But basically what I'm trying to get at is CryptoCon was awesome and shows like that are awesome. But if you do anything, if you go out into a crowd, if you're around your friends and loved ones and people, and just be careful, man.
Yeah. Vaxxed or not, we definitely have to be careful and try to distance ourselves as we know to do anyway. I mean, some people know that they should be doing that, and they're still kind of
don't turn it into a political thing or anything. Just care about your neighbor, care about your family, care about your friends. Like
this isn't about like who's vaxxed and who's not. This is just about like let's everyone needs to be careful at this time. We all care about each other. We need to just be cautious.
That's exactly. It's like what I mean when I say don't make it political, like people are doing. It's not about your rights. Like, you know what I mean? I know it's America and, we're free and this and that. But at the same time, like, I think the most patriotic thing you could do as an American is to take care of your brother and your sister and your friend and your grandma and your grandpa and your friends' kids and your aunt and uncle and your coworkers and just.
And don't you want those people that you care about to feel comfortable? You want them to feel good and feel comfortable around you and around each other.
But anyways, I don't want to get too deep into that. I don't want to alienate any listeners because we appreciate everybody and everybody has their own thoughts and views. I just want everybody to be safe. Let's all be safe. Let's all be happy and healthy and let's all go to buymeacoffee.com/SteveCrypto. Sorry, I had to slip that in.
I was going to say, we've covered all the background, the COVID talk and whatnot. Now let's back to monsters, Bigfoots, and fart jokes.
Big feets and fart jokes. But yeah, CryptoCon was amazing. I was mentioning Darcy the Mail Girl.
Yes.
Because we had that quick little conversation, and I was, Darcy's a huge wrestling fan. And I keep tabs on it. Like I really wanted to talk about wrestling a bit on this podcast, which I think we will eventually a little more and more, because I've been keeping tabs on what's been going on. And I noticed, if one company is kind of getting kind of lame and this other new company has been like doing really cool shit.
Yeah.
And following news, like AEW is the company that's kind of coming up, like
kicking ass.
Like, holy crap. Like, Darcy, I was like, I want you to come on and talk me back into loving wrestling again. And she's like, yeah, let's do it, And then I've been following what's been going on over there at AEW and like Bryan Danielson and CM Punk is back and
Adam Cole.
They got like Adam Cole, who is one of my favorites. They got the Big Show, Christian, like all these people that like I loved watching it. It's like, God damn it, why am I not watching this show? But I still, Darcy says she's gonna come on sometime, so I don't know when. At some point in the future, I'm still gonna want her to come on, and maybe by that point, I'm already watching AEW. But if not, she's gonna sell me on it because she's like super fan.
Yeah, I think we've both had a falling out with the wrestling scene for a little while now, and I tried watching it, tried getting back into it, and it just hasn't been as gripping, as I'd hoped. But I don't have cable, so I don't get a chance to watch AEW every week. Like I'd be tuning in, I'd be giving it a shot if I could. I would.
There's roundabout ways you could do it, but
but if I want to be a good boy,
that's, I'm a good boy.
Yeah, the only option I have right now is YouTube clips, and that's the best I can do.
Reading the news,
but what I've seen, Yeah, but what
this,
I've seen has been great. It's been pretty entertaining, and I mean, I love the fact that they don't have a whole bunch of filler and bullshit in there. They
no,
get to it. From what I've
they
seen,
have
the show starts
actual
and
wrestling.
it starts right with a match. Yeah, they don't come out and start talking, and 20 minutes later they finally have the first match.
And they do a really good job of integrating newer talent with, we got guys like Sting, like hanging out with Darby Allin, who is like a newer guy. And it's, it's cool. It's like kind of good for, at first I was like, oh, they're just going to throw a bunch of money at all these people. But now it's like, no, they're really building a good product. And I feel like if I don't have cable just like you, so I think maybe down the road it might be something to invest in, so I can start checking some of this stuff out. But we'll see. They like the good old days when you could just go like splice into your neighbor's fucking cable and steal it or borrow it. Not that I ever did that back in.
Yeah, you didn't do that, did you?
Not that I ever did that back in the 90s and early 2000s.
My good friend Steve would never do something like that.
No, I never stole a neighbor's cable, and I never got my power shut off and had to run an extension cord to the basement of our building, and none of that shit. I never did none of that ghetto poor people.
Such a specific action that you never did once in your life.
No, never. I know friends that have or something.
So what was the name of the AEW event that happened last night, the pay-per-view?
I don't know.
All Double or Nothing or All In?
It's
like
one
that.
of them. It seems like they name like every one of their events, which is kind of gets overwhelming. But they're doing cool shit, man. So I'm definitely gonna look into it somehow. Maybe I'll order like one of their pay-per-views or something. Well, I can't. I don't have cable. Is there a way to stream pay-per-views like order without having cable? Anybody know? Somebody messaged me. Somebody messaged me. Tell me if there's a way to watch the pay-per-views without actually having like DirecTV or something. There's got to be. But shoot, so Candyman. Eventually, like I really want to talk about it on this freaking show, but it's just one thing. I skipped out going last weekend because the COVID scare, and I was waiting on results. I didn't want to go to the theater until I knew I was clear. So I might try again this weekend. Maybe we'll mention it.
Well, hey, I was trying to jump in. Wasn't trying to cut you off, but hopping back to what we were just on for a second, reason I was asking you about the name of the event, the AEW pay-per-view that happened, and all the crazy news that's been coming from it. Our friend Dirk Manning from Source Point Press, he actually went to that event.
Yes.
Yeah, he's friends with Tony Khan, and so he actually attended, and we may or may not be speaking to him soon. So maybe we'll be able to hear a little about it.
It will definitely ask him about it. We're scheduled to have him on the show very soon. I don't like to say dates or when until I got it actually recorded and in the can, so that way we have something to post. But it's scheduled really soon.
It's nice to throw something out there, and we might get to discuss that with somebody who actually attended.
He's a good busy comic artist. He just did a book. He just did a comic with Tony Schiavone, like legendary wrestling announcer, worked with WCW. I think he might have worked a very short time with WWE, WWF back in the day. Very short time. But then WCW, and now he's like with AEW. So that's pretty big. And like this dude's writing comics with like the AEW people. So that's good, man. I'm looking forward to talking with him and learning more about him because I'm not super familiar with a lot of his work. I know you read his stuff he's done with like the Twisted guys and
yeah, and a little bit of Mr. Ree as well. Right. So yeah, I mean he has quite a few in his in his catalog.
A lot. Like I've known his name for a long time through comic circles, but I never really read any of his stuff. So I'm excited to hear about it and get hyped up for it and check out some more.
Yeah.
But movies. I mentioned going back to the movies this week, hopefully. You'll be excited that they again moved it back up, the Venom Let There Be Carnage movie. Remember they bumped it back to October 15th, I think. They moved it back to October 1st now.
Oh, cool.
It's a little sooner again. But again, I'll watch it. I mean, if I don't see it in the theater, I'm whatever. But I'm definitely going to make a point to see it as soon as I can. But I know you're excited.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the first one. It
was entertaining.
Yeah, it was entertaining. I could pick it apart, but I'm not going to.
Well, I just know you're a Venom fan, so
yeah, I'm a Venom fan in general. So I was just happy to get a Venom movie. Yes, I wanted an R rating. I want it to be a little darker, and they were going to try to do that with this film, but I think they changed it again to PG-13 just to try to pull in a wider audience. But as violent of a character as Carnage is, an R rating would be a little bit more fitting. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited just to get it in general. Can't think of any other movies coming out before that.
There's not
I'm
much.
excited to see. Yeah, it's going to be Venom and then Halloween Kills after that.
And Halloween Kills that's going to be a good one. And hopefully you guys all went and pre-ordered the Halloween Kills t-shirt from Fright Rags. Our buddy the Fright Rags are always dropping that new shit before in this case before a movie comes out.
Boy, Steve, that's great you mentioned it.
Speaking of Fright Rags, September 8th, Wednesday, which would be, hopefully you guys are listening to this on September 8th. Would that be the 8th, Wednesday? Yeah. We're recording on Monday, so this should be launched tomorrow or Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, Wednesday morning.
Yep.
So get up, listen to this episode. As soon as you're done listening to it, go over to Fright Rags at 10 a.m. They're dropping their new officially licensed Return of the Living Dead collection. The classic 80s horror comedy with the brains, the zombies talking about brains and said more paramedics like that. That's one of the greatest lines ever. But they're launching the Return of the Living Dead collection, including a motoring Tarman brain buggy t-shirt designed by Brent Engstrom and some other new designs. And they are also resurrecting some reprints from their older Return of the Living Dead line. That is September 8th at fright-rags.com.
That's right. Fright Rags has been bringing you the best in horror apparel and accessories since 2003, offering a wide range of products for your favorite creature features, slasher flicks, and cult classics. Collections include John Carpenter's Halloween, Universal Monsters, Night of the Living Dead, Creepshow, Twin Peaks, my little one's favorite, Evil Dead, and so many more. All officially licensed and available sooner now at fright-rags.com. Steve and Crypto Show listeners get 10% off when they use code SteveCrypto10. That's one word, SteveCrypto10 at checkout.
Do it. Fright-rags.com.
Do
it. But what movie was that? Was it a Ben Stiller movie when he's like, open the trunk? Do it.
Yeah. It was Starsky and Hutch.
Okay, yeah. Do it.
Do it. Go to frightrags.com.
That's like the only thing I remember from that movie. But
we'll get you a t-shirt.
Hopefully Fright Rags never makes a Starsky and Hutch line. Do it.
Well,
t-shirt.
Great. Thanks.
But anyway.
Thanks for spoiling their next drop.
But yeah, fright-rags.com. Go check them out. Get the Return of the Living Dead stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. Return of the Living Dead was a great horror comedy. If you're into horror comedy, a while back we had our friend Addison Binek on the show to to talk about his movie Psycho Ape, which was as horror comedic as it gets. It's a great cult movie. It's entertaining as all hell, but you can tell these guys didn't take themselves too seriously, but they made a movie. Like, they made a movie. Like, it's hard to explain, man. It's just, if you're into like, it's just not a trauma movie, but if you're into that style of, you know, campy, crazy horror, a little bit gory but funny and fucked up, like, Psycho Ape was your movie.
Yeah, and I dare you to find a movie that has used more bananas.
yeah. But he's launching a couple. He has launched a couple new campaigns. One for Psycho Ape, they're going to release a VHS version of it, and a new film project, which he came on the show again to tell us about it, and we'll bring Addison back on here in a few minutes to talk about that and some other stuff and have a little fun. He's a good dude, funny dude. Yeah, man. I think we get to that chat with Addison after this quick break.
Check out these shows available now on Fearflix.
And welcome to another collection of frightfully good films from Fearflix, Gothic Horrors, with me, your host, Malvolia, the Queen of Screams.
Hey, I'm Pamela Such. You know me from all the Wave movies. And here we are, we're going to play Curse of the Swamp Creature 2.
Hello guys, I'm Rachel Waits.
And I'm Elise Costin.
Welcome to Silent Screams.
I'm Pamela Such.
I'm Monica Hayes. Thank you for tuning in to 70s Grind Out on Fearflix.
Hey y'all, I'm Sherry Davis, your host for this wild and untamed collection of horror films from Fearflix. We wrangled up a selection of Texas horrors for this one. Welcome to Lone Star Horrors.
These shows, movies, and much more available now on Fearflix. Download it on your Roku channel store today.
Hey, we are on the Steven Crypto Show, hanging out with Addison Binek. He, if you remember him on an earlier episode, he came on and told us about his horror comedy, his indie horror comedy Psycho Ape, which was a fucking blast. Hopefully you guys have seen it, so we're gonna talk to him, ask him. I mean, he's listening, so he knows I'm gonna ask him. But Addison, tell us how Psycho Ape's doing. Last I heard, you were just about sold out of physical copies, aren't you?
Well, what would happen is that I would order about 25 at a time.
Okay.
And then it would like be shown somewhere at some kind of like virtual screening or something, and then I'd sell out. So I stopped ordering 25 at a time, and I ordered like 100. So I'm sitting on quite a few right now, like 77 or something like that, just because like, I would constantly sell out. I would underestimate how many people would be interested in buying a copy. I thought like 25 at a time was plenty, and I would like always be in stock or something, just because, you know, I think our movie is just some small little indie thing, but every time it screens at some like virtual thing, or if like it gets a new write-up, like a new review on some website, then that week I might sell like 7 copies. So I got tired of running out and having to order more. Yeah. So I just ordered 100, and when that 100 goes up, I'll probably order another 100.
Yeah, and it's good because you mentioned before we got rolling that you've been hitting conventions and stuff, so you got merch to sell, and So that works out. So you sounds like you sold quite a few copies of the movie then. And this is basically all like word of mouth and just like you said, these screenings and stuff. So that's pretty good, man. That's awesome.
According to eBay, the last time I looked, it said that we had sold 278 through eBay. And
wow,
I've been to one convention called Cinema Wasteland back in July. I sold about 9 copies there in person. And some people don't have eBay accounts, so I sell to them just through PayPal. Just send me like $15 and your address and I'll mail it to you. I don't know how many of those I've done, so I'm sure we're well over 300 at this point. And it's also available on Amazon Prime. You could stream it for like $1.99. Sometimes it even goes on sale for 99 cents. I don't know the numbers on that one because somebody else is kind of in control of the Amazon Prime stuff. So I don't know how many people have rented it. I don't know how many people have bought it, on Amazon Prime. I'm just in control of the physical media part.
Right. Well, that's good, man. I'm glad to hear it's doing well. I mean, it's a fun movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, anybody listening, if you haven't checked it out, please go look for it.
He has it on eBay or find him on social media and hit him up and he'll make a deal with you and send you one.
Get your friends together on a Friday night, have a couple beers and watch it, have some laughs.
Beers, maybe smoke a little something. I think that would go. That pairs really well with this movie.
What's kind of funny too, and it's kind of a misconception, is that I was sober the entire time of making that movie.
Right.
None of the jokes or anything in that movie came from being under the influence of anything. I mean, not from me at least.
Right.
The guy who I made the movie with, though. He would smoke weed and stuff, but I just wasn't doing that at that time.
Right.
So I think he would go home and like smoke a little bit and he would edit the movie. And that's why the movie has kind of a trippy feel to it, is because he was kind of editing the movie under the influence. But he didn't drink beer or anything. Like he was just kind of a pothead. And that's why the movie has this kind of weird like feel to it, the way that he cut it.
Right.
But none of the writing sessions, like nothing like that was written under the influence. But I like hearing though that it is a good beer movie or a good
stoner flick or something.
That's funny to hear, but it wasn't made that way. Like the people who made the film we were not getting together and getting like fucked up or anything and making a movie. But it's fun to know that it's like, it can be considered like a good movie for that, like that's funny to me.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like the reason I wanted to circle back and bring you back on is you have a couple other crowdfunding efforts going. One is related to Psycho Ape. I think you're working on funding to put out a VHS version of it. Is that what I saw?
Yeah, we're looking for some funds so that we can mass produce a whole bunch of VHS tapes. This stuff is expensive, and we're not making a ton of money off of the Psycho Ape DVD sales. We're still paying off, the budget of that movie. Like we did a Kickstarter for that thing, but we spent way more money, like our personal savings out of our own pockets. Just because we kept shooting the movie and there was stuff that we kept like coming up with ideas, and we blew through our Kickstarter money so fast. But so we're still, even though we get a lot of DVD sales and stuff like that, it's paying off, credit card debt and stuff from making the first movie and getting into debt from the first movie.
Right.
So we, people ask us about VHS tapes and stuff like that. And because it's an expensive endeavor, we thought of, let's just do a Kickstarter and make a donation the equivalent of what a tape is worth. So it's just you're pre-ordering the tape.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have a guy, a VHS distributor. He's going to make the tapes for us, and he's going to make, print out the artwork and put it in a clamshell case, and he's going to do all the work. We just have to pay him a large sum to do it. But then we'll have like 50 tapes.
So it's basically like you said, a pre-order.
It's a pre-order, yeah.
So however much money you bring in, that's how many tapes you're going to
That's how many tapes we can make, yeah.
Nice.
And then we'll just ship them to you, and, they're going to be hand numbered and everything with a Sharpie. So you know what number you got and everything. So that's just something that, like, because we don't really have any extra funds, because we haven't really made any profit. I mean, it's crazy to think, but like, we really have not made much profit off of Psycho Ape, even though we've sold so many DVDs, because it's paying back what we've already spent for making the first movie.
Yeah.
So we just kind of needed a little extra boost, because I know people want the tapes, but we don't have the money to really manufacture them ourselves.
Right. And I think I might have seen you post something about you were writing a follow-up.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We've gotten close enough to the point of paying off the first movie that we decided. Plus, everybody asks us about it anyway. That we started writing a sequel. The difference between the first movie and the second movie, though, is my partner Greg. He moved out to LA. We wrote and directed and edited the first movie together here in Michigan, where I am, and shot a lot of it in Michigan and New York. But now he lives in LA. He moved out there last year, right when we were finishing the first movie. Right. So it's a little bit more difficult trying to write a sequel, because we're just doing it over like phone calls and stuff like that. Yeah. When before we could be in the same room and like order a pizza and watch some crappy Ape movies and steal scenes from those movies.
Right, and just bounce off each other. And
yeah. So now it's a little bit more mechanical in that we are writing ideas and stuff and fleshing them out, but we have to do it over the phone while we're like,
right.
I DoorDash to make money to pay my rent and everything. Yep. So I got to talk to him on speakerphone while I'm driving and dashing. So it's a little bit more distracting, and so it's going to have a different feel than the first movie, but it's basically just a continuation of the first thing where, instead of having a big climax in Times Square, since he lives out in LA, we're going to Hollywood,
Yeah.
So we're going to be, running around Hollywood, guy in an ape suit looking at all the big landmarks out there, the big Hollywood sign, the Walk of Fame, Warner Brothers Tower, and all that stuff. So we're going to be doing the same thing out in LA as we did in the first movie with New York. So it's going to be our big Hollywood adventure this time.
Right. That sounds definitely looking forward to that. And I know all the people that do dig Psycho Ape will definitely be into it. But and there is one other project. Sounds like it's your main thing you're working on right now. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah. I used to do a show called Roastmasterpiece Theatre, and that was inspired by like Mystery Science Theater and Riff Tracks, because those are my two like favorite things ever.
Yep.
And it's a movie riffing thing where, I had a friend of mine built these puppets, and it was a talking box of popcorn and a talking film reel. And, I was a theater usher working in a movie theater, and we watched and riffed on trauma films. But so we did 2 episodes, and one was The Battle of Love's Return, Lloyd Kaufman's like first little movie that he made when he was like 25. And then we did Poultrygeist. But then the pandemic hit after we finished our Poultrygeist episode, and I was asking Lloyd for a third movie to riff on, but everything was shut down, and he kind of just didn't want to be licensing movies at the time.
Yeah.
And basically told me like Roastmasterpiece is kind of done. Yep. So that was kind of a bummer, because people seemed to like what we were doing, and people like the puppets and everything. And so I kind of thought like, well, what do we do now? What do we do? Licensing movies is kind of a pain in the ass, because it costs money, plus you're licensing it from a company who can pull the rights at any time. So what do we do? And so I kind of came up with this idea of, well, why don't we produce our own like low budget schlocky B movies, and our puppets can riff on those. So I thought of like an idea where, it's me and my puppets. We're working in this movie theater. The pandemic's going on. Our movie theater is, no one's coming. we're running out of money because we can't license film to show in the theater. And in this like fictional, world of, me and my puppets, we like steal money from the cash register and go off and shoot a crappy Frankenstein movie. And so, I raised some money last year through a Kickstarter to try to like, get some funds to sort of make this Frankenstein thing. And, Psycho Ape, we got like $7,500 for that. And plus we kicked in a couple of $1,000s extra from ourselves. But with that Kickstarter for this Cult of Frankenstein thing, because that's what I'm calling it, is Cult of Frankenstein. It's going to be like about a group of like Charles Manson type like people, like that Manson family group who are like brainwashed by this guy. It's going to be a leader who's like Charles Manson, who's obsessed with Frankenstein, and his cult leaders are like stealing body parts and stuff like that, and they're going to stitch together their own Frankenstein monster that's going to go and wreak havoc. And his followers are all wearing like matching white robes and stuff and Frankenstein masks, and they all worship Frankenstein as a deity. I have this giant inflatable Frankenstein Halloween decoration that they're going to like, get down on their knees and bow to and stuff like that. They're going to read from the original Mary Shelley novel as if it's like scripture from a Bible and stuff like that. And yeah, they're basically just a bunch of like Frankenstein worshiping hippies and stuff who, are also, stealing body parts and, organs and stuff like that. But so I raised about $3,000 last year, and I spent that money on costumes and props because, this stuff isn't cheap. And, once I had spent a large chunk of that Kickstarter, I realized like I'm gonna need some more money for this. I can't really afford to kick in money for this one like I did with Psycho Ape because we're still paying off Psycho Ape,
Right.
I can't really do that twice. So this is kind of like additional funds for people to pre-order DVDs or get like an executive producer credit on there if they want that, or even like $1 thank you in the credits, because in addition to like, having already spent some of this money on costumes and props and stuff, Bill Whedon, who played Dr. Zoomis in Psycho Ape, expressed interest in being in Cult of Frankenstein. And he, so I offered him the role of like a great, great, great grand descendant character of the original Frankenstein. And he was all about it. But, being an actor, and I got to pay him, I got to put him up in a hotel, fly him in from New York to Michigan and feed him and stuff. That's all going to cost money too. So I'm just kind of looking for additional funds to help bring this movie to life. I mean, the idea of it is, yes, it's supposed to look and feel like a crappy little Frankenstein movie that was made by a guy and two puppets. However, even, making a really low budget schlocky little Frankenstein movie is still going to cost money because there's still going to be props involved. There's still going to be actors involved who aren't going to just do it for free. So, this is kind of like just a little extra boost to just cover all my bases, get as many cool Frankenstein masks as I can, which I've already done. Like I've already got all my masks and everything. Like I posted a picture of all of those within the Indiegogo for this Cult of Frankenstein thing. So I'm good on masks, I'm good on costumes, I'm good on props, but this is sort of like the Bill Whedon fun where it's like, I want to get this actor in the movie. If you guys liked Psycho Ape, if you like him as Zoomis, well, now he's going to be a crazy mad scientist, Dr. Frankenstein character, tinkering with bodies and stuff like that. So, this is to get him involved in this movie and to like, pay him well and to, pamper him and stuff to be in this movie.
Right. That's cool, man. How long is the campaign running?
I only set it as 3 weeks.
Okay.
There's like 20 days left though, and I'm already at like $800, and I asked for 1,000.
Right.
So if it hits 1,000, great. That's really kind of all I need, because I kind of like I did the math and I was like, well, I have X amount of money left over from the other Kickstarter, but if I get like another $1,000 in there, then Bill Whedon can be a part of this, and I can put him up in a nice hotel and I can feed him 3 meals a day and fly him in and out because plane tickets are expensive. But I felt like $1,000 probably was enough to cover all this. And if people want to continue to donate past $1,000, that's totally fine too. It's just going to go straight into the movie. More props, more fake blood, more fake limbs, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, so everybody listening, get on it. Let's get this thing made for him. Let's get Bill Whedon in there.
Because I've got his mad scientist costume all ready to go. It's hanging in the closet. It's just you got to
have him
to put in
it. Right? Yeah, let's fill that suit.
Yeah, he's got to fill the suit. So I've got all the props. I've got all the costumes. Now I just need the players. This additional money will get me my actors. Will get me my people involved to go nuts in the costumes.
Yeah, they're definitely an important element of a movie.
I mean, I can get a lot of the people who were in Psycho Ape. They're not really actors. They were people who kind of came in from out of town and stuff and volunteered their time. But I'm honored that people are willing to do this stuff for free, but Bill Whedon is an actor and I do want to pay him. And if anybody comes in from out of town to want to, participate in the movie,
you'd like to feed him or something.
I'd like to be able to afford to take everybody out to dinner afterwards.
For sure. So,
like I said, I'm just I make money doing door dashing. It's not super lucrative or anything. I pay rent with that money.
Yeah.
But I still I'm still digging myself out of this Psycho Ape debt that we accumulated and stuff like that.
It would be nice for you to do well with this campaign.
It would be nice.
You don't leave yourself a deep hole. You don't leave yourself in much of a hole.
I'm already in one kind of hole with the Psycho Ape movie.
You don't need a second.
We're almost out. Right. The VHS thing could really help us out because we can sell those tapes.
Yeah.
But if I want to make Cult of Frankenstein the way I want to make it, with Bill as the as the Dr. Frankenstein,
yep.
That's going to cost some money too. And I want to be able to treat him right. I want to be able to, he's basically he's going to be really the only true actor in the movie, and the rest of everybody else, the cult members are just going to be friends of mine and stuff like that.
Not that he's going to have to carry the movie, but he is the trained professional.
He's the professional. He's the one that's going to be he's the name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the name recognition, because everybody else is just going to be friends of mine, as it was in Psycho Ape, where Kansas Bowling and Bill were the two leads, and they're the two famous people, and everybody else was kind of friends and family.
Yep.
So I kind of I want to be able to treat Bill right, because he's my lead.
So everybody pitch into the Kickstarter, and so that you can take Bill to Red Lobster.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. It's basically
that's the idea. That's the idea. I don't want to fly Bill in and be like, dude, sorry.
We're having peanut butter and jelly sandwiches tonight.
We're having McDonald's 3 times today.
You go with the 2 for $5 from Burger King. Is that cool?
Be like, no. That's not what you would do with your actors.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
although I feel like he would understand, just because, he was a part of Psycho Ape, so he knows how micro budget that movie was. But in comparison, the Psycho Ape Kickstarter, we had $7,500. For this one, I only got $3,000 for the first Kickstarter I did, so that's already less than half. So this is just sort of can I just get a little bit more so that I could pay some people?
Yep.
Well, and you got to stock up on bananas too.
Well, that's for Psycho Ape too.
That's for Psycho Ape too.
Right, but but you need money for that. You got to stock up on bananas.
Well, when the time comes, when we're gonna thoroughly budget out Psycho Ape 2 and figure out what's the real number we need here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Lessons were learned after the first movie, where it was holy shit, man! I didn't think this movie would cost this much. It's just supposed to be a guy in a gorilla suit movie, but going to New York, man, that was expensive.
Oh yeah, I bet.
That was our whole Kickstarter, and it's wait a minute, we still have the other half of the movie to film.
Yep.
Right.
Wow. But so when is the end date for the campaign?
So 20 days from now, whatever that would be.
So mid-September,
mid-September, some point. You know, the VHS tape Kickstarter, that goes for a full 30 days, so that would be like the end of September. But I knew that having two kind of competing campaigns would be kind of funky. But I just figured like, well, the Psycho Ape VHS tapes, that's for a niche audience. Right. You know, that's for the people who want a VHS. You know,
you'll probably get a lot of people that have already watched Psycho Ape or own the DVD.
Yeah. We're kind of doubling down on fans. You know, like if you like the movie, well, now you can get it on VHS. Add it to your collection if that's your thing. You know, I collect VHS tapes. I think that's cool. So if people want that, they can get that. They can pre-order that. And if they're not interested in that, well, it's like, well, I'm trying to get a new movie made. If you want to order a DVD of this, or if you want to, be an executive producer, that's that credit ends up on IMDb, and I'm gonna put it in the end credits of the film. Like you get to see your name on a movie and say that you contributed to this and you helped out and stuff. That's another option.
I mean, you mentioned you contribute $1, you'll get your name in the end credits. Like
I'll put you in a thank you. You get a thank you at the end.
Sure.
You can see your name scroll by, and
cool is that? Let's get it past 1,000, so he could feed his friends for helping and get your name in the end of the movie. And
even for $1, that is like $1 cheeseburger or something at McDonald's. So
Yep. But cool, man. We'll make sure to get these links out and get people on it, and I'll definitely jump on here soon and get a little something going in there, because I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Cool, man.
As a Frankenstein lover myself, so I'm looking forward to seeing a fun take on it. So
it definitely sounds like a fun plot.
Because it's the way I've written it. There's like two distinct halves in the film. I've kind of my reference points for like the structure of it is like Psycho or like Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof, where the first half of Psycho, you're following, Marion Crane, who has stolen all this money. You think she's the main character, but then she ends up at Bates Motel and is murdered. So the second half of the movie is now a detective story because there's somebody looking for her, and your main character is now completely gone. Where is this movie going now?
What happened? Yeah. That's nice. I like that.
Or like with Death Proof, you get this group of girls who you think that they're going to be the main characters throughout the movie, but then Stuntman Mike, destroys them all halfway through. And so now you're stuck with a whole new cast of characters, and you're like, I don't really know what this movie's going to do next. So I kind of structured Cult of Frankenstein that way, where the first half of the movie is going to have this cult, this hippie cult, who worship the Frankenstein monster as a deity, and they create one themselves out of body parts that they've stolen from a local morgue, and they're sacrificing their own limbs and stuff. So I'm going to have like Temple of Doom type sequences where people are getting their hearts ripped out and shit like that. And then they get their own comeuppance when their own Frankenstein creation murders them all. So halfway through the movie, this cult gets wiped out by their own creation. So now you're kind of like, well, isn't the movie called The Cult of Frankenstein? And it's like, yeah, but they're going to die halfway through. And so the second half, we're going to meet up with, this great, great, great grand descendant of the original Dr. Frankenstein, and it's being played by Bill, and he's a kooky mad scientist who's created an army of Frankensteins trying to sort of recapture his...
Not to interrupt, I think Bill is the perfect guy to play a kooky mad scientist.
I know. He'll be great. I mean, you basically just roll the camera and tell him, like, go nuts, man. Like, do whatever you want. Yeah. But he'll be trying to recapture sort of like the essence of what his, ancestor created. And he's kind of creating these like other Frankenstein monsters. And so he has an army of them. He's got like 6 of them. And he's pitting them against one another in sort of like a like UFC fight kind of way, or like in Django Unchained, when Calvin Candy has like his slaves fighting each other for like his own amusement, and he's like, betting on them and stuff like that. And so he's got these Frankenstein creations fighting each other for his own amusement, sort of like a gladiator style, and whoever the victor is, like, that's obviously the best Frankenstein now. Like, okay, I've completed my grandfather's work. Like I have a tough monster again. And so then the Frankenstein that we saw in the first half of the movie comes along and discovers his castle. And so it's sort of like old Frankenstein creation versus his new Frankenstein. So there's going to be Frankenstein monster fights in the second half. So the first half is like a 70s hippie cult movie, and the second half is just full monster fights.
Nice. That's what more can you ask for in a great, fun, indie, kooky movie? That's good, man. I like it.
Yeah. So, you know, if you like 70s cult movies, you know, Wicker Man or like Al Adamson type schlocky drive-in grindhouse movies, like that's the first half. Or like even like more modern, like Midsummer, like that's the first half.
Right.
And then the second half is like, you want to see some like King Kong versus Godzilla type shit, you know, throw down monsters. That's the second half.
Nice. Very nice. So if this gets, you know, you get the money you need and everything gets funded, do you have your sights on a release date and getting it done? And
that I'm not sure. I mean, I have to shoot it first,
right,
and then, you know, edit it, because then the whole wraparound idea is that, you know, this Cult of Frankenstein film was made by, in theory, you know, me as the movie theater usher in this riffing show with my two puppet characters, and we're gonna sort of, you know, you'll see our silhouettes at the bottom of the screen, kind of riffing on our own stuff.
Right.
And like on the DVD, I'll have there be an option where you can watch it like riffed or unriffed. You know, you can watch the schlocky movie by itself, you know, naked, you know, just as the movie. And you could watch it with like the silhouette commentary at the bottom, as me and my puppet pals are gonna riff on our own movie, sort of nitpicking it the way any filmmaker sort of nitpicks their own work anyway.
Right.
And, you know, we'll be critiquing our own effects, editing, audio, the acting in the movie, as sort of like as if you, the audience, are like a fly on the wall watching filmmakers watch, like, you know, the final cut or whatever, or a rough cut of, you know, our movie. It's very meta. You know, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. At least I think I'm doing a good job explaining what it is.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. It sounds good to me. It sounds like something I want to watch.
Cool.
So
yeah, same here. I love a fresh take on Frankenstein, and I mean any of the old monsters, like they've all been you know, so many people have had them in their hands to make their own adaptation of it, and so it's cool that you're doing one that's, you know, definitely unique.
Yeah, like, I mean, I just, you know, I love the Frankenstein monster, and so it's like, fuck it. I bought like every Frankenstein mask that's available on Amazon, because there's so many different kinds, ranging from like it looks just like Boris Karloff's face to absolute garbage and probably came from Taiwan or something. You know what I mean? Like it looks like a child made it, and it looks really, really crappy, like a second grader made it. And it's like, I'll buy that one too. I don't care.
A little plastic Dollar Tree one or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's why, like, this army of Frankensteins, they have to all look different. You know, they have to look like, you know, all the monsters are different experiments, so they all have to look different. And so I bought every single mask, and so you're gonna see these monsters fighting each other and ripping each other's limbs off, because, you know, he has to figure out who his victor is. And, you know, some are going to look crappy and some are going to look better. And, you know, it's going to be, you know, just monster fights, you know, for like, you know, 20, 30 minutes. And that's something that I would want to see.
Yeah, man. That's another thing. More money, more blood too, right?
Sure. Yeah, man. Like fake limbs are not cheap. You know, you'd think they would be. And fake gallons of fake blood, that's not cheap either. You know, if you want to get the good stuff.
I wonder how the price of fake limbs compared to like getting real ones.
I mean, I'm sure the real ones are probably still
a little more.
Probably
I'm not sure how the market is nowadays, you know.
Yeah.
But hey man, thank you for coming by again and telling us about it. Everybody listen, go find these two campaigns, find Addison Binek on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. We'll make sure to provide a link so you can find him, and he's posting updates on the campaigns, and looks like he's getting close to his 1,000 for the Frankenstein one. So let's push it past that. Let's get, like you said, more limbs, more blood, pizza for the crew, and
that's the idea. That's the idea behind it. Is just I could make it with what the campaign's at like $800. I could still add that to what I have left over from buying costumes. But if I got like a little bit more money, then I can buy some more fake blood, and I can buy some more fake limbs, and it's just additional money equals additional movie,
More fun. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, hey, thank you. Thanks for taking time again.
Thank you very much.
And once it gets closer to go time, we'll probably circle back and we'll talk about it some more. And once the movie's done and ready to launch.
Cool, man.
Cool with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Addison, take care, man. Be well.
Thank you.
Good luck getting this all together.
Hope everything goes well.
Thank you.
We'll definitely keep spreading the word about the campaign. We got a couple of weeks left, so let's get you there and get everybody fed.
Sweet, man. Thank you.
We don't want them to have to eat the fake limbs. We want them to have to eat.
Well, I don't want anyone to have to eat fake anything, fake blood.
There you go.
There's no nutrients there.
All right. Well, hey, you have a good night, man.
You too.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Dr. Gangrene. You're watching the Steve. No, you're not. You're listening to the Steve and Crypto Show right here on whatever network you're on. I don't know what you're on. Don't ask me. I can't see what you're doing, but keep listening and tune in next week for more cool content on the Steve and Crypto Show.
Hey, we are back. Thank you to Addison Binek for visiting again. Be sure to go check out the 2 campaigns he has going. And it was actually just his birthday in the last couple of days. So send him a birthday wish and throw a little something into his movie so he could take care of his cast and crew and more blood. More blood in the movie.
What a wonderful birthday gift to him. Just help out the crew.
Feed his crew and buy him fake blood. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
But check it out. Go do that. Visit fright-rags.com. Get you some of that Return of the Living Dead gear.
Make sure you go to buymeacoffee.com/Steve Crypto. Make sure you go visit that page and toss us a little something over that way to help the show out. Thank you to anyone who has contributed so far. We love you all.
Yeah, and one more thing. We mentioned earlier, Halloween's coming. Who's starting to decorate already? I want to know. Hit us up, social media, show us pictures of your decor. Go join that group, the Halloween Forever group.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, we had Jade the Libra. Like, she's a super popular YouTuber. Her and her husband came on to promote their music and to promote her channel. She has a awesome group for Halloween decor hunters and collectors and spooky stuff on Facebook. It's called Halloween Forever, and it's a cool group. Go on there too and share your Halloween decor there, and definitely send it to us because we want to see it.
If you find anything good out in the wild, just post it there and let us know where you found it.
It's competitive out there getting the good decorations, that's for sure. Try to get you one of those fucking 12-foot skeletons.
And our part of Washington hasn't been too great so far, in early September. But they already have some Christmas stuff out. I was going to say Christmas shit. I like Christmas. I do, but not as much as Halloween.
Not yet.
Not yet. That's what
too
I'm
early
saying.
For that bullshit.
So right now, put the Christmas shit away. It's time for the pumpkins.
Out of here. Get your fucking Christmas out of here. But like I said, fright-rags.com, buymeacoffee.com/Steve Crypto. Hit them all up. And thank you guys for listening. And we will be back here next week.
That's a wrap. Episode 43. I got to pee. Let's get out.
Slipped it in, you motherfucker.
I told you.
Bye, guys.